Welcome back to the Tailosive Tech Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This episode, if you're hearing this, almost didn't happen. That's what I've gathered from our 30 seconds of talking right before hitting the record button. So, with that gratefulness out of the way, how are you guys?
Hi, guys. Hello. Mike is a nomad somewhere in the country, middle of nowhere, USA.
Thank you for my status, Randy. Let me give me your status, or give you your status. Randy is a very busy musician who can't find any time to do anything these days.
I have a funny story that Mike, you didn't even catch it, Drew. So we try to record as soon as we get on, so that way you capture all our reactions as much as possible for our listeners and viewers. But Mike...
Was I that late?
No, well, late
Yes,
enough that you missed something so funny that it's tech-related enough. Sonoma would be acting silly, and Mike jumped on Discord. And wait, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'll show you exactly what it looked like. He jumped on Discord, and it looked like this. He was like, hang on. He's like, I don't know what's going on or why.
For the audio listeners, Randy is wide view right now, or 0.5 on the continuity camera.
He looks like Adam Scott in Severance before being severed.
What?
This was him. It's
I
like,
don't
you're
know that
ultra wide in your little trailer. I don't know why. I need help. This is what he said. That's verbatim. I need help. So,
Wow.
Fortunately, very true.
Beautiful.
But that's the other thing I was mentioning, I think last week, or did I even mention it, that I was having a hard time trying to get the Sonoma things to work. The problem was, apparently for like all the fun reaction stuff, like the thumbs up and everything else, you need the iPhone to be on iOS 17 as well, which is kind of strange to me. Yeah. I was on iOS 16 trying to do all the reactions. It wasn't working. Like, I think we mentioned before the last podcast, before we started recording, I just couldn't get the reactions. Like, I couldn't find the menu. And you're like, it's right here. I see it. And I'm like, no, I don't see it at all. But found that,
it was on
iOS 17,
Okay.
apparently that unlocks the reactions somehow. I guess maybe
Was
some
that
of the iPhone
was that from a YouTube commenter? Did a YouTube commenter
Not
tell
even.
you that?
I could probably look it up, and someone probably mentioned.
Then why are we
but
recording this? You guys are useless. Sheesh. All you do is complain. You don't even give us the answers when we're confused. I was just here for the tech support, honestly, but
That's all this podcast is, just tech support. No, what's even funnier is I looked up guides online. It's like, oh yeah, once you're updated on Sonoma, just go onto this menu and reactions should be right there. I'm looking, I'm like, no, it's not there. This guide is wrong. And then, of course, yeah.
We should rebrand the podcast to the Tailosive Tech Support channel. That could be it.
Fun. And
yeah,
we don't even
it
give
was
the tech
through the
support.
podcast that I was told about the whole. Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Wait. 2 seconds here. Let me see. Yep, I just pulled up my. Oh my gosh, it was through the podcast that I learned about doing the whole Apple Fitness Plus thing. Today is day, as we're recording on a Friday. Today's day 30, and
Wow.
so. Dun dun dun.
I take off my hat, but then that means I have to take off the headphones and the hat. I'm good.
Yeah. That's an over-ear problem.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, it's better than the stupid AirPods I'm dealing with. And now the watch that doesn't want to give me the right direction for compass, which is even better now.
Really? I didn't know that was a thing you could get wrong.
Apparently so. I was setting up the dish when we got into the new campsite, and the phone... Well, I saw a Starlink nearby that was facing a direction, so I'm like, okay, let me orient the dish the right way. And then looked on my watch to see if, like, whatever bearing or direction that was, and it was saying I was facing south. I'm like, that's not right. This should be north. And then I jiggle the watch a couple times, and it's still not updating. I'm like, okay, let's check the phone compass app. And that was giving the right direction and bearing. I'm like, why the heck do I even have this watch as, like, compass in the first place? If it
That was like the whole
right
advantage of the Series 5. Series 5 was all compass. And then, see, why doesn't
Maybe I should upgrade to a Apple Watch Ultra at this point.
You should upgrade to an Apple Watch. No. Because
No.
that's what I got.
Notra.
Ultra. Jeez.
Yeah.
Have those
That's the
come
way
on
to do
the certified refurbished site yet for Apple? The Apple Watch
Good
Ultras?
question. I have not looked. Let me go.
How
look.
come nobody in the comments has responded to that yet? You guys
Why didn't anyone tell me? Yeah, classic Jack Black.
Is this the episode where we just set fire to the comment section?
We're
Yeah,
attacking
we need a
you
good
guys
scrubbing every
now.
Yeah.
We're gonna reverse the flow of hatred.
So Drew's
Just
a
complain
fake
about our
Apple sheep
viewers.
now with his Pixel, and I don't know what I am. I don't know. And then
You're leaving.
And
That's
Mike
what you
is-
are.
and I'm leaving.
You're
Actually,
stuck.
I'm just gone.
I'm checking for certified refurbished. But so
Why-
let's get into the real meat. The real news, the real nitty gritty. The Apple
see how it is.
Pencil. That's what we all are here to talk about, right?
But Drew, where are
It's
the
all
iPads?
about the Apple Pencil.
I went to the store, and guys, I
important.
actually picked up the. Yeah, right.
I think I've got mine in here.
You're gonna wait for Amazon
got
Renewed,
my Gen 2 too.
so you can keep it for
Sliding
90
inspect.
days, right?
Done, 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 done. We just got a pencil. We just got a pencil. We just got a pencil. Wonder what it does. Oh, look! It's a pencil for nothing.
I love Blue
Hi,
Cruise.
Talos of Tech Podcast. I just want to tell you that the
my
iPad still has a purpose, and if you're a student and you got the drawing and you need to sign documents, and okay, bye. Wow, a clue. All right. Anyway,
I didn't know that Steve from
To answer
Blue's
your
Clues was here.
question, there are no Ultras on refurbished. However, I have found some for 500 and less on Marketplace.
That's pretty good.
what
Mind
about
buying me one since I don't
Amazon
use
Renewed
Marketplace?
or whatever?
Oh yeah, there's always something on Amazon, right?
Probably.
What
But I
is
guess,
the
yeah,
resale?
you introduced the pencil. I haven't looked too much up on this pencil besides the fact that it now has, I think, a sliding cap for a
slide
USB-C
whistle.
plug. Like, it doesn't charge inductively like the Gen 2, but you have to plug it in like
Correct.
the Gen 1. But instead of having to take off the cap fully, it just slides.
There's no cap.
No, there is a cap. The fact is that the cap
That's
stays on.
cap,
Goodness.
is what you young people say. That's cap.
Anyways,
One day I will figure out what that means. But it's not this day.
we'll never know.
I don't even know. I just when in Rome. It's a common expression. Sheesh.
Mike.
Don't even know what that means.
Do all the kid things. Based.
Yo, that's really mid. Yo,
Is mid still even trending or current?
high key. This is real mid.
Okay, so I'm assuming that this pencil is mid as well, then, and the fact that it doesn't it sacrifice the whole not taptic feedback, because that would be actually pretty cool, having like motors in the pencil that like give the feeling of drawing. I don't know.
Oh, you're giving them free ideas now.
That's actually really good. Why didn't they do that? What'd they get rid of in this pencil?
The pressure sensitivity, which is apparently a bigger deal than I thought, because I was like, oh yeah, that's whatever. If you're just taking some notes, or what I think of when I think of Apple Pencil is like Randy would like draw up floor plans and stuff and like layouts of his office and room, and he'd always, and I was like, when most people are using the pencil, I feel like they're doing stuff like that. I don't feel like the pressure sensitivity was that big of a deal breaker, but man, the comments disagreed. Apparently that is a huge thing to leave out. But I don't know. Mike,
Actually
you got
follow-
an Apple Pencil.
I was gonna say, I actually, I do. I follow a few artists on Twitter, and they were, honestly, it was pretty funny because usually the tech stuff and the art stuff stay pretty separate with topics and all that. But all of, was it yesterday or the day before, all of art and the tech side of my Twitter followers, or following, that I'm following, whatever, were ablaze with the fact that this new pencil doesn't have pressure sensitivity, which I was honestly quite surprised and a little bit admired, because it's like, oh wow, Apple really ticked off a lot of people with this new pencil. We're all unified in some way.
Which is why I kind of love it. It's the perfect Apple announcement. It felt like I was a real Apple sheep again, to be honest, because it was like, whoa, the community hates something, that I like and will defend publicly. This hasn't happened in ages. Usually it's the community loving something and me hating it, and now it's back to normal. For that one day, we were back to normal Talos of Tech days, you know?
We're back to Drew in the attic.
The walls turned green, and I had one of these, and I was just like, look at me. This is the Apple Sheep card, as far as I'm concerned. You got the logo,
wrong.
you
Yeah,
got the name,
got your name.
It's titanium. That's the card.
I feel like that
That's
needs to be
it.
revoked at this point with the fact that you have something in your pocket that isn't a glass plus stainless steel brick.
It should be, because that's the hardest thing about switching to Android is getting the freaking Apple card. There's no equivalent over there. There's the Google Wallet doesn't have anything like that. So
Go on.
was this pencil a mistake?
Yes. No.
Yes and-
I don't know.
It feels like a upgrade for the Gen 1, but a downgrade for the Gen 2.
Even though the Gen 1 had pressure sensitivity, do you still consider it an upgrade?
I think so, just because Gen 1 you had to plug in from like the end of it, which felt
That's
very
true.
silly, and like the only other, could you even use it if like you had the adapter plugged into a cord plugged into like a power source? Okay. I wonder if this new one can do that. If so, then I would say it is an upgrade. Except then I guess you're getting some weird like torquing going on because you got like a cord pulling at the top of it. If
Yeah.
you've got charging or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a weird upgrade with the fact that they're like, here's USB-C, yay! But in the worst way possible of putting it on the side and possibly not being able to charge and use. I don't know.
Okay,
Have they
here's my
discontinued the
question.
Gen 1?
No, it's still $100.
Oh.
The
Well,
Gen
yes,
1 with
this is a
lightning
downgrade then.
and a cap is still available for the iPad 9, which they're still selling for some reason, not EU approved. And then the new Apple Pencil with USB-C has no cap and the sliding mechanism. So I guess most all of us agree Apple Pencil 2 is like peak, obviously. That's the perfect pencil when it charges inductively,
Pencil Pro.
pressure sensitive. There's no cap. It's a matte finish. Yeah, maybe they could rebrand it to Apple Pencil Pro for profit, right? But as we're discussing the entry-level pencil, it seems like a lot of people are either mad at the Gen 1, the new USB-C one, or both. Do you prefer the sliding mechanism or the cap mechanism? Which one do you think is more logical?
Randy, what do you think? Because I think I fall into a certain camp. Certain camp.
I prefer the one that magnetically connects and charges. That's the
That's not an answer.
I don't.
That's cheating.
Definitely not the one that doesn't have any. With the cap coming off, you can lose it, and that was an issue. I never lost my Gen 1 Apple Pencil. The cap was always there, but that thing was just the stupidest design ever. So
Who
bad.
needs a stylus? Yeah.
Yeah, that was rough. That one was rough. So, I guess maybe the sliding then. If I have to choose between it, I guess the sliding would be the one to go because the cap one is ridiculous. Lightning
I
is
agree.
stupid, and you can lose the cap. And I've only had Gen 1 and Gen 2, not this new one, but the Gen 1 should not exist in 2023. It shouldn't exist in 2021, and it did. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it might be the oldest Apple product. No, that's not true. If we're counting, they still sell 30-pin cables, I think, technically. Did you know that?
Weird. Did not know that was a thing.
Ew.
Do you think they're making those, or do they just have a big warehouse of them somewhere?
Somebody's
warehouse of
grandma
cords.
is going to pass away soon, and then they can discontinue it.
Oh God.
Well,
Jeez.
anyways, cut
Wow,
the
it is
back
here.
up. I'm also probably in the same support with having the sliding mechanism is better than having the removable cap, because also I recognize that you could lose the cap, where in this case, this pencil case, the cap cannot be flung off into like the caves that is the couch, or into pet's orifices to where you have to wait a couple days to come back out.
Bye, everyone. See you next
Mike,
week.
this is a family-friendly show.
Hey,
Okay.
there's literally a book that is everyone poops. This is the natural cycle of life.
Oh my God.
Girls don't poop.
That's true. Oh my God. So anyway, I agree. The sliding mechanism, even though people were memeing it, I think is far better than the cap approach. I know I've told this story before, but I don't know if Mike was around yet, so I'm going to tell it again. One time we went to the Apple store and they had like a class of students doing some kind of Apple activity, you know, the Today at Apple thing. And they all had iPads with Apple pencils. And I saw that they had individually removed the cap from every single pencil because they didn't want the kids to lose it. So they were all just bare lightning plugs on the other end everywhere. Just every kid had a little lightning Apple pencil sticking out. And yeah, that was I was like, that seems like a design oversight if they've got a mug somewhere full of just caps, just holding all those individual pencils. So if the inductive charging method was the only reason, I think that might have been directly influenced by the iPad 10, because the 10 had the camera and the landscape orientation, so they couldn't put the charging method there. But what's interesting is this new pencil still magnetically attaches to the iPad 10. So there's magnets there all along? They just didn't put in the
coil.
The charging method for it, which I'm...
It's the one with the astronaut looking at Earth, the other astronaut with the gun. It always has been.
There were magnets on the side of the iPad. Okay, do you want to tweet that or should I?
I'm going to tweet it. I already have it.
Okay.
Here we go.
It's a new joke every episode.
Yeah.
I want it.
It always has been.
Yeah. I'd say this pencil's a slight disappointment. I like the fact that they're trying to transition everything away from Lightning, because it shows that they're going all in on it. But the fact that they haven't removed Gen 1, and then also they removed some features with this pencil instead of, I don't know, making it wider a little bit bigger, or something else, is a little bit disappointing.
Well, that's a decent question in regards to the lineup. Should there be an Apple Pencil lineup? Sometimes I wonder if people are like, it would be. I saw comments that were like, it would be better if it had the pressure sensitivity and the wireless charging. And I was like, that exists. That's been a thing for 5 years, and it's $130. Is the debate more that there should just be the same pencil you guys have that works with the new Mini and the Pro? Should that just be the only pencil, and they should have just discounted it to $100 or $80? And would that have been more ideal than having 3 different pencils?
It probably would have been easier, honestly, just to replace in Gen 1 the Lightning port with a USB-C port and call it a day. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of more in the camp that kind of like what Microsoft does, where like it's basically the same machine. Like, I guess maybe not, but basically having the same machine, and then if you want ports or a disk tray, you can have that, or just do away with the disk tray, but it's still, or port, but it still has all those same functions. So I think a lineup can exist. It's just, it doesn't need to, for a pencil, it doesn't need to be complicated. Do you want a port or do you not
Pencil
want a port?
lineup.
I think that should be the only like difference of two products, I guess maybe 2 or 3 products that they're selling. Port or no port, that's it. Otherwise, all the features are the same. And maybe with a port you unlock, well, maybe you're just able to use it longer because you could plug it in and use it. Versus
So pressure
the wireless
sensitivity, you don't think pressure sensitivity should be a higher end option? That should just be a
not at all.
standard.
It should be a
Okay.
base option for all the pencils because it's a pencil. Like, oh, but this pencil comes in black and also has a gold line on it that indicates that it's a pro product. Like, no, it doesn't. We don't need to make it crazy. I mean, you can make it black and all that. You can do all the cool decals that you want. It doesn't need to be that complicated for a pencil.
Okay, that's fair. How about you, Randy? Do you think there should be a lineup, or should there just be one and that's it?
Oh, you already know my answer. There should always just simplify. Come on now. Just be one and done with it. And we were talking about the iPad here. iPad is completely like, it's overkill, that whole section of diversification. we will never get past this conversation past like until they fix iPad OS. Get the cheapest iPad mini.
We should say
pencil.
if they fix iPad OS.
If it's good.
Not when.
If it's good. Oh man, I keep thinking like Apple, you have to hear our pleas. Just fix it. I will have faith in your competency. Competency.
Randy's brain is bussing.
Yeah,
That's another word.
It goes stupid. Sheesh. All right, so yeah, iPad.
Is your son telling you all these slang terms?
No,
Is
he's
that
looking
where
at me.
you're
He's like,
getting them?
"Shut up, Dad."
I'm trying to
He
watch.
just looks at
Blue.
me like, no, he's not interested in Bluey anymore.
What?
He wants it. He wants
Oh.
Bluey on in the background just to like have noise, but he's just.
Oh my God.
His new thing. This is what he does. All right. If you're watching this on YouTube, people, give me your eyes for a second. He'll just come up, no matter what it is. He'll grab my leg and then just go. Whatever he has in his hand.
Oh, he pulls a white cable out of your leg? That's impressive.
No, he holds my leg with one hand, shakes
Yes.
the living hell out of something with the other. And it's all he
Just don't
does.
give him an animal. Don't give him Kika. It's not good
Oh,
to shake
it's
the
not-
animal.
Kika, go sit down, man. Go sit down. This ain't your battle. Anyway, so yeah, that's why iPad
Okay.
sucks.
All right.
Yeah, the pencil should be simplified.
Should
There
not
should
be a
be no-
lineup.
There should not be a lineup. No. You have two ways to go about this. Keep iPad OS the way it is. One iPad to rule them all. Just do that. Don't. You already oversaturated the watch thing with bringing in the Ultra and then stainless steel and then aluminum. Just like, I know what Apple's doing. We are the luxury brand giving you options for you to choose everything that you want. But in practical use, not many people were buying the $400 wheels, the $20-something-thousand Apple Watch Gold. Not many people are buying the.
One went on sale recently. Did you catch that?
I didn't know.
I almost bought it. I was so close.
This man. Boo this man.
Okay.
He's getting rid of all this stuff, but he's like, actually, I'm going to buy more stuff too.
If I had to have one Apple Watch for the rest of my life, wouldn't it be poetic to have the gold one? Like, wouldn't that be?
It's the one Johnny
So
Ive would have
appropriate.
worn.
Yeah. The only thing that scared me away from it, because it was pretty relatively cheap. They were selling it for like $2,000, and when it was new, it was $12,000 or something. The only downside for me was there was no returns, no refunds, and they didn't have proof that it could turn on. So
Oh, yikes.
there was a very real chance that they were selling a $2,000 watch that was incapable of functioning. But I was like, that feels
It's a great
irresponsible.
museum piece, but that's about
Yeah.
it.
I just wear it, not for the time, just so you get mugged or something. I don't know.
That has Droop in the bougie person.
What
It's always been
have
me or
done to
Randy
you?
or Nick.
That's fair.
I'm bougie.
I have bougie phases.
Yeah.
How am I
Mr.
bougie?
Pumpkin Spice Latte.
That I make myself.
You do now.
That's because I got the tools now.
Yeah, I guess so. But you
It
didn't
should be
before.
said Randy has the best setup of the three
He
of
also
us
has the best
right
pumpkin
now.
spice lattes too.
Michael
I can
does
attest.
not drink.
Wow, my full name.
I know. That's how you know I'm being serious. He does not drink coffee. Just to put that into context, he does not care for coffee like that.
Barring the
He-
fact that I drank coffee about 3 or 4 days ago, but that's because I stayed up till like 5 a.m. doing something. Anyways,
Everyone makes mistakes.
yep, everyone has those days. Everyone knows what. I don't remember the rest of the lyrics. Anyways,
Speaking of mistakes,
yeah.
I'm
Pixel
guessing Randy
and
is
your green bubbles.
again-
I hate these things. No, we're getting into your stupid Pixel that's been ruining our group chat, and now it's like 3 different chats that we got. One on Discord, one on Twitter, and you had to create your own because it broke our other Blue Bubble chat.
That's true. It stopped working right after that. Yeah, I love it. You guys can't get a hold of me. It's great.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's great for this podcast.
No, it's the spoiler alert is I've never wanted to switch to Android more in my life. Basically.
Now you really have to give me the Apple Card. No more.
Okay. You can have it. There's a $15,000 limit, but you can have it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Better than mine
Okay.
right now.
Now you
buy
can
a
fit
gold Apple Watch.
FSD on theirs. Okay, what do you want to know? Ask anything.
Hi, I used to be an Apple sheep, and this is a Pixel AMA.
This is like the exact same color as Randy's shirt.
I was noticing that, and this is
Almost
not
is.
gray.
Hazel.
So disappointed that you didn't get the Obsidian or the black one.
I was too. I literally did not look at the color. I saw the listing and I saw the price and I just hit order and I was like, oh God, wait. What did I
Okay,
do?
what do you
What
want to
color was
know
that?
about him using... I saw that you have been continuing on. I have a question that is Pixel related, yes, but also bigger picture related.
Okay.
When was the last time you used your black magic to make a video?
Ooh.
There was a little bit of time between after the iPhone 15 was gone and before the Pixel 8 arrived. There was black magic for probably a couple days in there.
But
So,
besides
not that
excluding
long.
those couple days, you've been filming smartphone.
Yes. Pretty much ever since the iPhone came out, I've been filming everything on a smartphone.
It took
Which is
Apple
fun.
going USB-C for you to get a phone that's not even Apple. For you to be like, you know what? Just the thought was good enough. now I'm
Yeah.
gonna plug everything mic related into my whatever I'm filming on. Okay, so with that context out of the way, then, how is the video quality been comparatively to iPhone? Because we know on paper, Apple always reigns supreme, but in a day-to-day, in your controlled lighting environment, in your home, how has been content creation with the Pixel camera for video?
Good question. So I think personal preference, it could be totally subjective, but watching my videos that were shot on the iPhone 15 and watching videos that were shot on the Pixel 8, I think the Pixel looks better.
I need to get off this
Objectively.
podcast. I'm so done with you. I gotta.
He's done. That's why Randy's
You're
going to
gonna-
leave right
You're
after
gonna
this.
drive him away,
He's
Drew.
heading out.
You keep on talking good about these Pixels. You're gonna drive him out of here. We might lose him for EV if you keep this up.
You might lose me.
Okay,
to
you know what? If Randy's not on EV, it's because he's quitting the show officially. Just
Wow, he's putting me in that spot. Drew is full of baloney. He's not telling the truth. If I'm not on EV,
true.
it's because Randy has a very important business trip he has to take in a couple hours.
nope, that's not it. That's just an excuse because
so
he
this
can't
is-
stand to look at me
Oh,
anymore.
this is it. This is how he found a way to get rid of me. Oh, oh, it's happening. That just
Sorry.
started taking
Finally.
over. You know, he
Sorry, Randy.
found a way.
I'll replace you next. So then it's just me and Drew, and then eventually I'll replace Drew, so it's just me on the Realistic Podcast.
That's
That's
what
been
this
my
is
goal this
slowly
whole time.
turning into. It's working. It's paying off. But
Yep.
all that to say, the iPhone footage, when I threw into Final Cut, I had to color correct a little bit. This, no color correction at all. Just straight right out of the camera app. The way you see it on YouTube is exactly the way it shows up in the camera viewing app and everything in Photos. And not only that, but I have the faster USB 3.2 port that you need a 15 Pro to get on an iPhone, but on a Pixel, and I think it's on the last few generations of Pixel.
For
So I can import the
$700.
file for much less. It only takes like less than a minute to move the full 4K at 60 video file over to the Mac. And Final Cut digests it fine. It doesn't get glitchy. It doesn't fuss. It just
Why would you
it
say
looks great. The
digest?
depth of Yeah. Well, I mean, if you edit more with iPhones and Intel Macs, you'll probably know what I'm talking about.
I just
Anytime
find
you threw
interesting the fact that like, what was it? The video on a Pixel goes into Final Cut much more smoothly, or at least in the way that you want to color correct and have the video shown, is much more appealing to your eyes just through the Pixel versus phone or iPhone to Final Cut and then having to do the edits. Like, it's weird
Yeah.
that the handshake between the Android and the Final Cut is a little bit better in your opinion than it is with the iPhone.
I think it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It could totally just be a personal preference thing, but in my opinion, the Pixel looks less noisy. It has better contrast. It has better depth of field. I feel like there's a lot more natural bokeh. I'm not sure if that has something to do with the sensor size or something. It's a pretty massive sensor, but I don't know. They're both good. They're both usable. It's not like you should switch to an Android simply for this reason, but I'm just, from my own personal experience, I tend to prefer the image quality out of this. So, sorry, loud noises. But yeah, the video quality has been astounding, and photography is all negligible to me. I feel like all photography in modern day phones is all great. They all take great pictures, okay? Even an iPhone 11 from 2019 is still taking great photos, honestly. Like they're all cranking out decent enough images, but the bigger, more noticeable difference for me was definitely in the video quality. I was just like, dang, this was not the way I thought this was gonna go. So that's definitely be a win. Oh, and the functionality of the camera app I also prefer. Because when you're in video mode, there's actually a setting at the bottom. There's just a little gear icon that lets you select the microphone
All those
input,
settings.
which the iPhone does not do. So the iPhone, yes, will use an external microphone, but for me to make sure that it's actually working, I have to like hit record.
Doesn't it auto default to that mic though, the external?
It does, but there was this kind of weird handshake. I probably should have talked about this more. I apologize when I was reviewing the iPhone 15. But there's this little handshake that happens where, like, okay, how do you know that it's using the external mic? Well, you have to make sure that you close the camera app, plug the mic in, then open the camera app, because I ran into situations where if I opened the camera app and then plugged the mic in, then it wouldn't default to the external mic. So I had to make sure that chain of command worked properly.
It's a whole order
to
of
make-
operation.
Because I was very nervous that I was going to sit down and record like a full 20-minute video, and then after the fact found out it was using the wrong microphone input. iOS has no way to let you know that it's using which mic. I just have to take my word for it. Their word for it. It's like, oh, it's probably using that one. Whereas this one is literally a setting, and it gives you, not like how on iOS there's a little green icon at the top that's like camera in use. That icon adds a little wire icon once you switch to the external mic. So there's a setting that says switch over now, and then it confirms on the screen that yes, you are using the external mic, and it sounds wonderful. So in terms of video, it's not like I think it's a deal breaker maker, which one has the better video performance. They're both fine, but if I had to pick one, yeah, the Pixel 8 video. It's impressive. But the
Have
preview
you-
is disappointing.
Oh, okay. Have you taken it to the store and actually used like the Apple, or not the Apple Pay, I guess anymore, the Android Pay, Google Pay, GPay?
Yeah.
What is it?
I tried to. I was sitting in line at a bank, and we were gonna pay for something, and I was like, oh yeah, I can set this up. So I had my credit card out anyway, and I scanned the numbers, and I put in the 3 digits in the back, and then it said, this card cannot be added at this time. Try again later. So
What
that
are
was
those
it.
digits, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
Okay, so it's 8942.
Okay.
We'll just do the whole thing. I have a card I could give the number
Okay,
out on.
so you
actually.
haven't done wireless pay with it yet.
No, but that was actually the first time I used tap to pay with a credit card, because I had the card right there. So I was like, tap, and then it went. And I was like, oh yeah, you can do that too. But I miss Apple Pay. Apple Pay seemed to work more reliably. And just all the third-party app support is half-baked, all of it. It's just every app I use feels worse on the Play Store, which sucks because it's not even really Google's fault. they're not really doing anything wrong. They're doing their best to make their apps native and optimized. But when all the devs slack off and go, it's Android, who cares? They're used to junk. We can give them junk. That's fine. But on iOS, everything's so smooth and gradual, and all the animations just everything feels so bubbly. And anytime I pick up the iPhone, I go, oh, okay, that's nice. So you win some, you lose some, basically.
Are you keeping the Pixel? Is that your main phone now? Is that it? Is that where we're at with this?
That's entirely up to Google.
What does that mean?
No, it's not. It's up to you.
If Team Pixel adds me back, I will keep it.
Wow, this is a call out to Team Pixel. Add this guy back if you want.
That's my condition.
Him.
I'm a sellout.
That's not. No. Don't you wordplay me, you son of a. I said, is it going to be your main phone? Whether they give it to you or not.
Okay. Here's my commitment. If they add me back to Team Pixel, the SIM stays in the Pixel.
Wow. Jeez. Would you
I don't feel
say...
good, Mike. I don't feel good at all.
I guess maybe let's lead this into a...
It's like my girlfriend telling me that
because I know they're not going to do it.
You know, not into men anymore, and I'm the reason.
I know that Randy had another girlfriend. Wow. On top of having a wife.
It's just like she's telling me, it's like, it's not you, it's me. I'm like, I could change. Like, no, you're just not my type. And I'm like,
no, this is not me, it's you. I mean, okay, look, there's a few little things, and I feel like you guys know how much I care about the little details, right? There's like little things.
That's why we're confused.
Little details make the biggest difference to me, and there's a few little things on this that really win me over compared to getting a new iPhone eventually. For one, there's the 7 years of software support, which I kind of want to put to the test. I'm like, are they going to stay true to that? How long is that going to last? Also, I didn't want a ringer switch. I didn't want an action button. This has neither. There's no ringer switch or action button. Okay, they listened to me. I wanted the visor camera bump. There's no more wobble. Visor camera bump. No more wobble. I wanted a physical SIM tray. I don't like the eSIM only thing. That annoys me. This has a physical SIM tray. So it's like all these little details that I care about in hardware that I've been telling Apple, like, if you're not going to do anything with the removal of the SIM tray, then just keep it there. You know, if you're going to leave it for the international buyers, just leave it there. Getting rid of it's not helping anything, and the carriers suck at managing it. So I'm annoyed with the eSIM thing. I'm not interested in the action button. I'm already seeing people with 15 Pros on Twitter all say, I never used my action button. I have set it to do nothing. It was cool for a day, and then I got over it. And then, so it's just, and we're not probably even going to get this camera bump design next year either. So there's all these little things for me in terms of hardware that have all stacked up, rounded back too. So it's pretty comfortable. But it's the question of, are these hardware wins worth the software compromise? And yeah, that's kind of the deal breaker for me, because ditching the Apple Card and ditching the savings account there's not going to be a Google equivalent to that. They don't have one, and the only thing I could do is try to make another account, another bank, another credit card, and then I have to deal with their crappy Play Store version of their app on Android because the third parties don't do as good a job.
Drew, you have a wife that uses the iPhone. Why not just have her assume the credit card and the savings details?
Yeah, that's a different discussion.
Was it Skylar on your most recent live stream? I forget the rest of his handle, but he was saying that you could use an iPad even though you don't have an iPad. You could get the new iPad mini if it ever comes out and access your savings on there. I know, very laughable, but what I'm trying to get at is, he said that you can access it on the iPad. Unfortunately, I don't have a savings account, so I can't.
No, what he's saying is when you go into your settings, it is there. We don't have the same fluidity as like what you would have in the dedicated app, but when you go into your settings, actually I think it's on the Mac as well, but it's definitely on iPad. I've seen it. When you go,
I'm
to,
pretty sure it's not on the Mac. Otherwise, I'd be way more open to this idea.
you go to Wallet, and yeah,
Yep.
it's not on the Mac.
Wallet
But
and Apple Play or Apple Pay. It's all there.
You go to what? It's
I
not
see
on
it.
the Mac.
you see it, yeah. So it's
Apple
on. It's
Card.
On, it's in your not.
Let me
in,
share my screen so you can see all this.
It's not
Wow.
it's
not
not
on
on
the
Mac.
Mac.
It's not on Mac.
That's
it's on
for sure.
iPad.
But it's on the iPad. But if you,
Why
I mean,
can't this be on the web? Seriously, that would be a very different discussion. I feel like
Because
Like
they don't want to
all other
lose you,
banks?
Drew. They'll lose you.
they know. If you don't want to lose me, put me on the nice list, Tim. Come on.
Ooh. So I guess here's my tangential question then.
And
What's
I don't
stopping
even
you
know
from
who you are.
What's stopping you for being kind of like Marquez and being a two-phone guy and having both your 11 Pro and the Pixel 8?
I don't have to worry about being a 2-phone guy. I have to worry about being a 3-phone guy.
Okay.
That's the
Mr.
debate.
Mr. Giant Brick Phone that I love and hold dear in my spiritual heart about that whatever thing is. Chevron Light.
Nah.
Freaking me out for
I
a
mean-
second. I thought you were about to pull up a Samsung or something.
It's just the OnePlus open for no reason. It just
Just a
has
folding
that
phone.
for something. Yeah. No, I guess it's more of a financial thing for me. I'm okay saying that. I don't care. It's just I have other financial responsibilities to take care of, and I don't feel like it would be the right thing to do to spend that much
But
money
Drew,
on.
you just sold a
secondary
whole
phone.
bunch of stuff like your watch and everything else. And you
I
already
know,
own
there's
the 8 and
There's
the
an
11.
off-the-record reason for that I won't go into, but there's I'm selling off as much as I can, basically.
Bro,
But-
same.
Yeah. Randy's probably in a
Jeez.
similar situation, but
I am. Man, I'm over here as you're talking. I'm like, do I really need the studio display? Can I sell this and keep some of the loss?
yeah,
Do I
it's
need
a
an
pursuit
iPhone now?
of essentialism. What did you call it? Or minimalism? What's the difference?
One is essential. The other one is in the case of just minimizing. They both have the same foundation of less but better. That's the ethos. Less.
That's called
but better.
efficiency.
Yeah, a lot of people
Okay.
are hoarders and stuff like that. It's to challenge your way of thinking about things. You know,
You didn't have to call me
This
out
is
on here.
essentialism in a phrase. If it's not a definite yes, then it's an absolute no. Or if it's not an absolute
Yeah.
yes, it's a definite no. That is essentialism.
Okay, you're right. I don't like the idea of keeping an iPhone purely to use the wallet app. That seems dumb
Wasteful.
to me. Yeah, I would say that feels wasteful.
Well, again, your wife has an iPhone. Just have her.
So
be
yeah,
the
but
card
I
holder.
can't speak for her. I don't know if she's comfortable with that because it does affect her credit score and stuff. Adding someone else to that, her name and stuff gets attached to it and everything. So I don't know if she's open to that, and I won't know in the duration of this podcast. But we could talk about that. I know she doesn't want me to switch. I know that much.
Oh, there
Yes,
you go. So he's
Listen
coming
to the
back.
wife.
We know he's
The
coming
House
back.
and the Senate. The House and the
That
Senate
right
said
there,
come back.
He's coming back. Okay.
They did not sign off
House
on
and
the
the
bill.
Senate might reject it, but I know she
Dead on
likes the
arrival.
idea of a good deal. So Team Pixel, I feel like, would have an effect on that.
Oh, you mean getting
she
free
used-
stuff? Of course.
Yeah. She used the Pixel 3 back when we were on Team Pixel, and she really liked it. So I don't know. I wish she was right. She's not even in the house at the moment, so I wish I could bring her on and we'd have a live panel discussion about it. But at this point, we're gonna have to wait, I guess.
I want to.
Yeah,
I want
I
to.
can't.
I've
Go ahead.
the main takeaway is I've never wanted to switch like this before. There's other Android phones I've tried, but this is the first one in a while that I've been like, ooh, okay, you really tempted me here, Google. Like, this is getting really. Extend unlock, by the way. I've been asking for that on iOS for a long time. It just knows when it's home to stay unlocked, which is really smart, and I appreciate. So when I go out, it locks, and when I get home, it saves a lot of time.
That's nice.
So they bragged about the Face Unlock being improved. It's not as good as Face ID. It doesn't work in the dark. That's the biggest difference for me. Like, They said that this was secure enough that you could use it with banking apps. And if the lighting's good, it works. But if you're in a dark situation, it doesn't, which I'm like, yeah, that's why you still have a fingerprint reader. That's why fingerprint
Hey,
still...
to some people, that's a pro, because I much love Touch ID over Face ID. Just
Really? Oh, wow.
there's a
I didn't know
satisfaction
that.
of getting. Oh yeah, I love opening up my MacBook just to rest my finger on it, especially because now that I'm watchless.
Yeah.
There's something about the tactile feedback that I'm old school. I mean, I like flicking on switches, not telling Siri to automate that stuff for me.
Yeah.
I like tactile. I mean, remember the keyboard? I like tactile. So,
Yeah. No, I get it. That was the same thing at the little dinner party we went to last night. Everybody was like, oh, yeah,
How many
Face
dinner
ID's
parties
weird.
are you going to? Seems like you're always at a dinner party.
We have way too many friends. It's getting ridiculous. We're going to have to cut off some people here soon.
You're gonna have to be a little bit more minimalistic with your friends then. Okay.
I gotta be more
I'll see myself
essentialist.
out as well.
you're
Yeah,
writing
there's
us
too
out
many-
of the show, Mike.
There's too many Michaels to keep track of at this point. But my friend that bought the Apple Watch
Okay.
used to have a Pixel, and he is a teacher, so he's not supposed to use his phone to set an example. And he told me how he had the phone on his desk, and when it had the fingerprint reader, without looking down, he could rest his finger on the phone, unlock it, and do some stuff without them seeing that he's on his phone. But now that he switched to a 14 Pro Max, he has to do this whole thing, to get the Face ID to register. So
That
it's
poor
a lot
soul.
more obnoxious. So I was like, hey, you know what has fingerprint reader? And I just whipped this out and did the unlock.
I do
It
miss
was
the
like,
fingerprint reader on the back of the phone, like the Pixel 2 had.
Oh,
That
the
I really
back?
enjoyed. Yeah,
Mm.
it was on the back of it at the time. It was a little circular.
I don't know if I prefer that.
I like it because that's where your hands rest, or on the back of the phone. It's just right there. Like, look where your finger was, right there. I mean,
Yeah,
not
but
too
a
far
lot of
from
the
the center of it.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm at a desk a lot. My phone is often laying flat on the table, so that would be bad if I had
But
to
you're not
pick it
doing
up
like a
every time.
whole like finger onto it. In fact, when it's on the desk, you're just swiping up, and like you said before, it has the whole at-home recognition of
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
true.
So you're not gonna pick it up with your hand and all that. And even so, like
With
when
the
you are,
iPhone,
you're
I
gonna
just
be on
turned
the
it
couch
off.
or whatever.
For the iPhone, it's just off at all times. So if you see me
I
in
noticed
public,
that
feel
with
free
the
to just
Pixel,
attack me.
you're rocking the always on display. You prefer that?
No, I think it's just raised to wait going off a lot. It's normally like this.
Okay. All right. never
That's
mind.
default, by the way. It came out of the box like this, which I'm fine with. I don't like always on. But yeah, they definitely, in terms of UI consistency and symmetry and everything, even with all these years of support, and even with Google after 8 generations of Pixel, I still don't feel like it's caught up with iOS in terms of just aesthetics. It feels simpler. It feels more elegant. It feels more sophisticated on iOS. Whenever I go to this, it's like I know how to get it to work, but it doesn't. It's so hard to frickin' articulate. I swear to God. There's so many people I've had this same exact conversation with.
I totally understand. It's something that I came to terms because of course, I'm rocking all the Apple ecosystem stuff. But my father-in-law was having an issue. He was trying to find a photo, or he had too much data on his phone that he needed to offload to somewhere else, or he wanted to save something. Basically, he needed my help because he knows that I'm the tech guy. And so he's like, hey, I need help trying to find a photo or send a photo or offload data or whatever. And I'm having to like try to filter through all the menus trying to find where is this located. And yeah, Android's data folder organization's a little bit better than the iPhone's just files format and all that. And maybe, I don't know. Basically what I found is during my time trying to go through menus to try to do the thing that I want to do, I realized this is a lot of steps just to do like one or two things that I need to do versus like on the iPhone. It's like, yeah, I guess I've had a lot of time with the iPhone, so I know what buttons to press as well. But it seems like Apple helps you get there quicker by just eliminating a lot of options.
Yes. I can see that.
Simplicity.
I agree.
They Apple is the biggest component of the whole I mean, we mock the whole it just works things, but they want a lot of people to just be able to like less input is better than having to funnel down or drill down to a certain section to do something. They just want it to be accessible. Yeah, not this past week, but a week prior, I didn't bring it up on the podcast just because maybe it wasn't relevant to whatever we're talking about, but here's something that made me go about Apple iPhone just in general. I was just like I went to the store. I'm currently caseless, and I don't. It's not intentionally. I happen to be caseless right now. But I went to the store, and I had some downtime while I was waiting. So I go over to the front and start looking at the titanium stuff again, and just be like, okay, if I'm gonna review one, do I want the bigger one with the 5X? Do I want the regular Pro? And I start tinkering again with log and pro and all these things, and I had maybe like a good 10 minutes with the camera on the bigger one and the small one, doing side by sides, pinch to zoom, and like how's the software gonna fix it, and just all that, just playing with the cameras.
Sure, I do the same thing.
3 realizations I had. One, the 5X and the 3X inconsequential in regards to like genuine output if you're trying to zoom in. And when I get to 5X and then 5X digital and I punched in, if you're really peaking, maybe, but even when you're taking a photo in RAW, it still looks like a smartphone camera. It doesn't have the same information that you would get from a dedicated actual long lens, like a telephoto actual lens.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, that's interesting to note. 2, comparing it to my 15 regular in cameras, really not really noticing it. Only when we have to get into the zooming that is like, okay, so this is where the third lens kicks in, but you don't get the 24 megapixel. Even there's more cropping than it is switching to the next lens, and this was me in the store doing it as well. It wouldn't default to the other lenses, so it falls back on the main 48 megapixel camera anyway. But you don't get the same unlockability as what is being advertised with those other lenses, and so then going into the ultra wide and tinkering with that one over mine. Sure, you got macro, and I remember using macro a lot for just getting those artsy fartsy I want to distort my mic, and let see what that looks like up close. But I've never been in a situation where I needed macro, genuine, outside of just trying to compare something.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I've never been in a situation where I needed it. I need my main lens to be working and quick shots when my kid's doing something cute. Macro won't save me there. So then the third thing is it re-solidified that I made the right decision getting the cheapest iPhone with the best camera I can get right now for what I need in my life. And more so, way more so when it comes to then making video content, that I think I do more video doing this, what we're doing right now with Continuity Cam, than I do filming dedicated wise or capturing quick moments with whatever my kid's doing, right? So when we look at the video element of it, and I'm not trying to fake a cinematic experience, if I'm just looking for a point and shoot to be what it's meant to be, I cannot tell the difference between the two. And I know the sensors are different. One's actually bigger. But when it came to just using it, and I would purposely not trick it, but I would just reach the phone out and then immediately, even though it has the string attached to the camera, I would pull it out and I'd just swipe, start filming real quick, turn it, and then watch it.
Just sets
just
off
to
the
see.
thing.
Yeah.
It just keeps playing.
And it just goes off. Yeah. So it's not $200 or $300 better in the video department, even in the camera department. If I was trying to do a hyper specific thing, then yes, it would work. But a part of me knows that like I have a mirrorless camera just off to the side that I haven't touched, that if I needed those specific situations, I'm gonna go to that. And it's still cheaper. The mirrorless camera that can give me the same tech stuff, still cheaper. When I bought it new, was still cheaper than what the smartphone is today. Granted, smartphone has all the processing. It's a computer. It's a phone. What's a computer? I get all that. But when we're trying to differentiate between the different models, it's not 4 figures value out of it. And okay, titanium, is that worth dropping another $200-$300? No, not by itself. It's not. Always on display, I turned mine off, and I did that with the 14 Pro. Having the with always on now, the nightstand thing, standby mode, I wouldn't use it for the same thing. The refresh rate, I notice it. It is a thing. I don't care. It's just one of those things where it's like, okay, it's the refresh rate does nothing for me when I'm trying to. The only time I'm deep in my phone is probably when it's like taking a video or a photo, and the refresh rate has nothing to do with what I'm looking through the lens with anyway. So it really doesn't matter. All things collectively, is that worth a $200 to $300 upgrade? Yeah, probably. I think it would be worth it, but being a realist with it, I'm not. It's not that I'm turned off by what the hardware and software capabilities are on the smartphone today. It's that we're at that point where it's refinement, and it's just plateauing. Refinement. There's nothing. Yeah, and then, which is a great thing, but there's nothing wrong. Well, for me, there was something wrong with the 13 mini, and that was a RAM issue. But there's nothing wrong with the 13 series. If you had a 13 Pro Max, or definitely if you have a 14 Pro or Pro Max, and I know a lot of people have resorted to getting last year's model now that it's no longer a full price thing, and I think that's a better way to go. There's nothing wrong with whatever refinement is. I think the point I'm trying to make with all this right now is that I don't think camera features alone is going to sell me anymore about upgrading. Going forward, I think the USB-C has become more valuable in my day-to-day, just plugging it in wherever. And the idea that you can now mic up, as you've been doing, Drew, and there's just, if I needed to drop something on a hard drive, if that was ever the case, which it's not, but if I did, then it's there. There's more use case with USB-C that I'm finding in my day-to-day now with the last, month, I think, a little over a month, than the camera features. And the camera features was the part that's supposed to sell it. 48 megapixels,
right?
Blah, 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 blah. I don't use the...
Well, it's the titanium. That's all they're marketing all day. It's ridiculous.
I'm not even talking about the titanium because you don't even notice it. So
I keep getting those ads with the asteroid coming to Earth. And it's tight. I drove through San Francisco, all these billboards everywhere, titanium. That's literally all they're advertising for it. And I just keep thinking, overpriced, bad at heat dissipation, more fingerprinty. You couldn't, if you were trying to not sell me on the iPhone, boasting about the titanium is the way to do it. That's not going to win me over, Apple. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'm totally with you, especially after doing those tweet comparisons of iPhone 11 versus iPhone 15. It's like, okay, we're not just talking last year versus this year. We're talking 4 years of difference. And there were still some people siding with the iPhone 11, which basically meant it's a toss-up. It all comes down to just your personal preference, which honestly, it doesn't mean the iPhone 11 is better. It just means that whatever the calibration they chose for the 15 caters to a certain demographic, like... And there's photographic styles, right? You can change it. You can make it more saturated. You can up the contrast. So it's...
Which I use.
Buying a whole phone
I have profiles
out of
on
that.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And those impressed me, actually. I remember after owning the 13 Pro Max for like a year, I was like, you know what? I should actually try these. I haven't used photographic style. And I switched it to high contrast. And I was like, whoa, this is like a whole different camera system. It felt totally different. So the concept of buying whole phones purely based on their cameras is, I agree. I wouldn't. USB-C is more objective. It's just like, does it have it? Does it not? That's it. It's not like,
Yeah.
well, I kind of prefer the colors. Oh, well, this one looks a little more rich. That's the funniest one to me is when you post two pictures and someone says one looks more true to life. And I'm like, were you there? How do you know what true to life is if you're looking at two post-processed heavily images? I don't. It's just.
Of a place that
And
you've
then they're
never
I'm
been.
totally
compressed.
with you. Yeah, in a
Yeah.
place you've never been. You're like, oh, that one looks better, but that one's more accurate.
Are you
Like,
talking about
oh,
sharpness?
really?
Oh, you've been in my
Are you
bathroom.
talking about-
You've seen my toilet. Oh, okay. Great.
It's like, I'll say what's true to life,
could-
but
I could objectively discern that, but
Yes.
I know
However-
Randy's bathroom.
if I can win a little bit more Apple Street points here, notice what headphones I'm wearing for this show.
Wow, look at those Pixel Buds. No.
They're not these. For a very specific reason. They're not that great. They're okay.
Really?
They're
Your assessment of the Pixel Buds is that they're just a mid-tier wireless headphone.
they're cool if you get them free through a promo, but I'll just say I get why they're giving them away. It makes sense. They're not selling. These are not flying off the shelves. They probably have a ton of them in inventory, and when a new phone comes out and they need a pre-order promo, yeah, throw in the Pixel Buds. Sure, go for it. Just throw them in there, because at first glance I was impressed because I was like, ooh, they have like the Apple Pencil 2 matte finish. It's like that more grippy texture. They don't feel like glossy like this. And I was like, oh, that's kind of nice. And I like the spring-loaded cap and everything. It feels nice and it feels solid. And then I put it in my jeans. And not in there for very long, probably like an hour when I was using them out and about. And then I took them out and just blew denim ink all over, and it looked disgusting. Wow. And it took me a good 10-15 minutes to get all the blue material off. And I was like, that was after one day. I haven't even had these for very long. So this means this is going to be a recurring thing, or I'm just going to have to accept that these are blue. So on top
you got
of
the
that,
wrong color.
You should have gotten the blue ones.
I mean, they changed the Buds color, but the case is the same color no matter which one you
That's a
pick.
bummer.
So
I missed the first
denim.
case that they made for the initial Pixel Buds, because that was like a fabric. Even though that would kind of wear down a little bit, at least it wouldn't stain as easily as what you're probably describing with these.
Okay. I'll agree with you, but the case material was a better choice. But I hated those first gen ones because of the cable. You had to wind up that cable to fit.
Yeah,
I was like, I
that
want
was annoying.
wireless. I bought these to be wireless. Why is there a wire, But maybe it's fine woven. Perhaps that's the material choice they went with. But they sound okay. The sound quality's decent. They got a decent amount of range. And honestly, they actually fit my ears better. However, the deal breaker for me is probably the same thing Randy has said about Beats headphones in the past. Nothing can touch Apple's transparency mode. It's just, there's no debate still. Like, sound quality can be great, and the playback for music and podcasts was excellent, and they fit and stayed in my ears fairly well, but anytime I did transparency mode and tried to hear my surroundings, it took out all of the low tones. All of the lower frequencies were gone, and it was purely just mid treble on the high end, and you could hear a lot more of your jaw movement and your head movement, and I was like, nah. And that's kind of the main thing I love about AirPods Pro is you got that really good ANC, which these were okay, but not as good. The active noise cancellation blocked out a lot, but there was this tiny, tiny white noise hiss. Very faint, but enough to be noticeable. that these, of course, have never had, even though they're the first gen, not the new ones with the even better ANC. So objectively, I was just like, you know what? AirPods work with Android pretty well. You can get them to sync up in the Bluetooth settings, and they work okay. And AirPods Pro have USB-C now, so even if I did permanently switch to the Pixel, I would probably keep using AirPods Pro. So they didn't get me there.
A
Thank
little bit
goodness.
of redemption.
You can have half of the card back.
Just a little bit.
Okay, it's a full limit, but that's my little Reader's Digest review of Pixel Buds Pro.
All
Good
right.
good for free, not bad for a free set of headphones, but would not have paid $200 for them. Definitely.
Can't
not.
wait to see what you say about the watch. Not
Are
yet.
you not going to get the Pixel Watch?
Oh, well, even Marquez didn't like it, so I'm definitely not gonna like it. I don't know.
You don't want to
I'm
form
kind
your
of
own
in the-
opinion?
No one wants that. We just
So sad
we
it's
just repeat
true.
what others have said. That's this whole industry. But yeah, I'm kind of loving the watchless trend. As an essentialist, I'm gonna do the what is it? The Essential Mindset podcast or something. What's it called?
The
I forget.
know.
the minimalist mindset.
I'm the essentialist mindset. So
There we go.
I'm trying to keep it clean. They got nothing on the MacBook. MacBook's not going anywhere. That's in writing. We made sure that's not happening. And then
Thank goodness.
phone, headphones, those are open to debate. If anything, I'm more interested in AirPods Max 2nd gen above anything.
If they ever make them.
They better- oh my God, they better.
them.
Please.
Speaking of audio, I wanted to quickly jump in with the fact that Twitter has somehow ruined my experience even more with the fact that I'm trying to listen to my playlists on Spotify or whatever, and I open up Twitter, and it turns off my music.
Oh,
in which
yeah,
then I use
I've
the
had that
Dynamic
too.
Island to open it up, hit play, and then go back to the app, and then it just turns off the music again. I'm like, okay, well, let me turn off the phone, turn it back on. Maybe it's a bug. No. I just can't listen to music while scrolling Twitter, which
Is it an autoplay thing? Could it be the videos autoplaying?
there's no video. I'm like, I checked that as well. I'm like, am I looking
Oh.
at a video right now? No, it's a photo. And it like has a little alteration tag on the bottom as well. And all that.
It'll fix
And-
that issue for you, Mike, when you pay $1 a year for it.
Yeah. Is that a
Yeah.
good call, you guys think?
No.
I don't think
Seems
this whole
like a
thing was a
bold
good call.
strategy.
They should have just left it
Imagine
as is.
Imagine if Elon didn't sell all that stock and instead just worked on rockets. Tesla
The
stock
Starship
would be higher.
flying at this point.
The world
Starship would
if.
be landing.
Society if.
Society if Elon never bought Twitter. I guess I wouldn't be being paid by them. So
Every
I-
day
you know-
I'm driven closer and closer to Threads.
I still have not got paid out, even though I am past threshold. So I'm not
sorry.
renewing the blue membership or whatever they call it now. I'm completely
I don't blame you.
over it. Congratulations, X. You got $16 out of me. Enjoy it because you're
feel
never going
like-
to see another penny. I'm never going to give him another. Even if I get, there's other ways. I'm not hurting for money that bad that I need a $20 or $50 paycheck from X for tweeting my
am.
thoughts.
For tweeting. You
I'll
tweeted
take
your
20
thoughts,
bucks.
Max.
You could take
I'll
my
take
20
it.
bucks. That's fine. Yeah,
I agree with what Randy said. Tesla shareholders should get Twitter Blue for free because we paid for that transaction.
We did. We really did. There's a lineage. There's a
Our
paper
Twitter.
trail.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm X.
Do you,
I don't want to be X.
do you guys think, I guess as our kind of final wrap up subject, do you think, I heard they said only for new accounts, it's not existing accounts, but only
Yes.
new accounts in Philippines and New Zealand will be
Right.
asked to pay $1 a year.
Yeah.
Do you think, my prediction is that that will scare new people away and they'll decide it's not worth pursuing because they need to care more about activity than $1 a year revenue. Do you guys think that this will expand beyond those two countries?
Yeah.
To here, even? You think it'll make it?
Probably midway through, honestly. I think they'll probably. It's Philippines and New Zealand right now, you said?
Yes.
I think maybe Australia might get loped into there since it's all that region. And then you kind of get more into wherever else is over there, the Koreas and all that. North
You're
Korea's going to
comparing
be
the
so annoyed at
Kiwis
this point.
To... they're gonna. And if we have any Aussies listening, they're gonna get very upset. Like, oh, it's all.
It is in the same region. New Zealand's right next to Australia.
Go get Pete. I need him on here. I need him to defend his.
Yeah, pretty much
He would agree
anytime I
with me.
hear from him, he complains to me about Elon. It's getting very tired. And I agree, his complaints are justified. I'm like, I don't want to hear about this anymore. Can I drive a car without talking about Elon? Is that possible?
No, you're the liaison now. Drew, I need you to go talk to him and tell him not to do it. You know, now he's gonna have to pay the $8 and all that, and yeah, or $1. Excuse me.
Not even $1. It's $8 at this point.
Well, he just tweeted that they're going to expand Blue, as I call it, to there's going to be a higher price with no ads and a lower price that has the same amount of ads. I just want to know if I can switch to it without losing my membership perks, because right now stop it. Oh my God. It's terrifying.
What is going
Question
on
mark.
with your reaction there?
OBS didn't see it, so we're good. But right now, I can't switch to annual if I wanted to. There's no option. Like, it doesn't show up. Like, if you subscribe to monthly, you have to keep it until it expires, in which case I'll probably be booted from the monetization program, so I'm not going to play that experiment.
It's
especially when
costing
there's
you
such
more
a
money just to stay on the monthly.
Well, I don't even really want to go to annual because Twitter is so weird and unpredictable at this point, so I wouldn't be shocked if this whole monetization program falls apart within 5 months. They stop paying people. So if in the event that happens, I'm kind of glad I didn't pay for annual, but still, there's nowhere in the app or nowhere in the billing section that says switch to annual from monthly. Like, once you pick it, you're locked in. And I'm like, I would take more ads. You could take all the other features as long as I still get paid. That's all I was looking for. If there's a cheaper option that still allowed that, I would take that, but I don't know if he's going to.
What if you unsubscribe long enough to where you don't, for the next billing cycle you miss it, then you resubscribe. You still got the engagement. You still got...
But the renewal process restarts.
Mm-hmm. He has to wait forever for that to go through again.
So I have to wait till they approve me, and then they count the engagements.
Yeah, but no, wait. What I'm saying is that you already qualify past the 5 million impressions, right?
Yeah.
So unsubscribe. You still have the unsubscribing doesn't take away your impressions. You still meet the threshold. You've been on the platform long enough, and you have the engagement. Pass a billing cycle, then resubscribe. It took me 2 days, 1 day, if that, before I got my check. I mean, you're not going to lose that much, if anything. There's not, God forbid, that's the week of the Cybertruck, then you're screwed.
It's okay. But EV's not monetized, but yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it'll depend on the price. Right now, I'd only save $1 a month switching to annual, which is not a huge incentive
$12
for me
I
to
feel
experiment.
I feel dirty. I feel like a cheap. I feel so used. I do. No, I'm really
Okay.
upset about this.
That's how you really feel, Randy.
No, they
We're
got
gonna put that in
$16.
quotes over the thumbnails.
Yeah. What a clickbait, which is not clickbait because I did say it. Like, Randy's a cheap. I feel like Ron Burgundy. That's what you are. It's okay. Ron Burgundy, the fictitious characters from San Diego. I can say this. That's what you are. I don't believe you.
I agree.
And
I'm with you.
I $16 for nothing. Like, I feel absolutely just like I feel dirty. It's pushed me away from the platform. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel gross. I'm like, oh, I monetized and you haven't paid me out, and instead you took another $8 from me. So yeah, I'm just not a fan of the platform this month. I guess I'm gonna take a step back. Randy
with you.
needs a cool down period. I think there's a weird addiction that's actually affecting my mental health in a different way now that I've talked about imposter syndrome, right? About like being able to like live up to the image that I think is being portrayed by me. But now I have a different segment of this thing where it's like, am I holding my phone more than I'm holding my son? Type of a thing. And that made me go down a rabbit hole of just disgust that I'm like, I need to just break free from it all. So
You are a dirty girl.
I am, yeah. So I the fact that I had to pay, because Drew had asked, I don't remember if this is on record or off record, but he asked, you know, what, and I say this here because I pose it to everybody else, you included, Mike. What would you do, audience, if any platform you have to pay to use the platform? Would you, if they start charging? Let me rephrase this even more, because this is how Drew asked me, or this is how it was brought up to me. Multiple accounts. People have multiple accounts on different things. Some people have like a friends only thing on Instagram next to their public one.
Yeah.
Some people have multiple.
They make joke accounts, parody accounts.
You have meme accounts, right? You have to.
Yeah.
Or you say you have your version of the digital network, and you have different YouTube channels, but they are YouTube accounts. They're different accounts that all go towards the same AdSense, but they are different accounts. They have their own metrics and stuff like that. What if on any of these platforms, and now I bring up Twitter because it's something that you can get paid on. Discord is another one. Name it, Snapchat, all of it, you have to pay now. Say it's $1 a year. Who knows? But you have to pay to use multiple accounts now. What do you do in that situation? Because what if the domino effect happens and now everybody starts doing it? The way Meta charges you 13 or whatever a month to have a verification through Meta, if that's what you wanted. Like when the chips fall here, what do you do in that situation? And people, you could take the whole Netflix approach. I'm not going to renew. I don't care how many times they increase the prices. I'm not renewing. I'm done. I'm out. But then you look at their earnings and they've never been more profitable. More people signed up.
The stock jumped when they raised the prices. It was amazing.
Because they saw what happened a few months ago. It shot up. Like, I cashed out of Netflix too soon. But anyway, the point is with that is that, like, you know,
That's
you
my
could
fault.
say, I'm never going to do that. But what, you know, if you go where the eyes are as a content creator, but as a consumer of the thing, you go where the clicks are. I don't want to say clickbaity because then it feels weird, but if people are akin to being on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and then some radical platform changes to it, what do you do in that situation? Some people are like, well, Meta is more laxed about it. You know, you can. They're not going to be as volatile as X. But look how much everything has changed in just 3 years. Not even if I just go back 3 years. Go back at the start of the pandemic and see how much everything has changed just within that. I'm not convinced. That, let me say it like this: our time of being free, I think, is coming to an end. Whether that's this whole Web 3.0, and that's what people are thinking, oh, crypto. I think ad blockers has proven something on YouTube, that even YouTube's cracking down on their own platform with like ad blockers, that
Good for them.
the time for freedom, it's going to cost you one way or another at this point now. And
America's not
we've
going to
been,
like that.
who's not going to like it?
America's not going to like that.
Yeah, no, even freedom
It's not
isn't
about
free,
it
they
being
say.
affordable. It's a principle thing. $1 a year, even a very, very low income person could afford. The problem is the principle, the idea that in order to engage with this, in order for it to function, I have to pull out a credit card and type in those numbers. Like that, so many people I've seen, when I was asking, would you rather verify via government issued ID or would you rather pay $1 a year? Most of the replies were neither. I will leave. If he asks me to pay $1 a year, I will stop using the site. And I think that's probably going to be most people. And it's not because they can't afford it. It's not an affordability question.
Either way, your
out of principle.
your personal information is out there. It's either tied financially to a card or a bank account, or it's tied to your legal name and address. And
It could be a penny a year, and I don't think the results would have changed.
no,
Nope.
no, because
No.
it always starts that way. It'll start as a penny,
Right.
and then
Then
just
they
like
pull
a
a
gym
Netflix.
membership that renews. Yeah, it's such a messy. Like, it is a principle thing. I totally agree with you, Drew. That is, it's on principle alone. Yeah, I gave them 16 years, essentially.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I want my 16 years back. So yeah,
From a
I
personal
feel like if you
standpoint,
pay once, that should cover you, right? What's the point of it being recurring?
I don't know.
so that way they could get more money out of you.
I don't know.
That's
I
it.
have no idea.
I just wish they would say
Coming
that
from-
instead of claim it's about bots.
Yeah. My own standpoint on it is that I only use Twitter at this point for tech news and EV news, and that's basically it. Otherwise, the whole social aspect of it has kind of gone away for me. I think the only thing that I'm really posting on Twitter these days is just who adopted Nax, and it's now the most convoluted
It's like every
infographic ever.
automaker put together.
Yeah, I should now just do who doesn't have Nax, and then it just goes away every single month or whatever.
It's just
Perfect.
VW.
I
and
love
Lose.
that.
That's basically the only thing I do now, and I don't really interact with anyone anymore too much. So if you're forcing me to pay for it, where I'm just using it as news, and you're paywalling it, I'm just gonna treat it like my hometown's newspaper. I'm not gonna subscribe. If I try clicking on a link to see what happened in my town that week, and it says you need to pay for it,
I'm gonna treat it
who
how I
cares?
treat Apple News Plus. Bye bye.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, I'll get my
Canceled.
news elsewhere. I've been trying for the past, I guess ever since Twitter became what it is now, I've been trying to see how can I get around this with RSS feeds or just some other way, like favoriting all these automotive sites in their newsrooms just to see, can I get around getting information quickly, but having to access it differently. And it's a bit tougher, but it's possible. It's just not ideal. In which, once Twitter does the switch to everyone has to pay, in which it seems like it's almost inevitable at this point, I'm not going to use it anymore. I'll be done.
I give one more to Team Pixel here. Google has the best social media platform with YouTube also. So, at the end of the day,
Totally agree.
I choose YouTube 12 out of 10 times. YouTube, the ecosystem of YouTube is unmatched.
There's
I
like
think about-
3 YouTube apps on my home screen. It's like
You're right. I think about how I use.
Jeez.
Look at that. Yeah. I think about how I
studio
use
music. Yeah.
And music, YouTube music. That's right. That's the third one.
Mm-hmm.
I think about what's my purpose on Twitter, and I think a lot of my followers there are the tech variety over anything else, and I accepted that a long time ago. Like I'm like that's okay because that is a part of my identity as well. But I mean, this week we got new Apple Pencil. And that was like the big news, right? Whereas
Maybe a folding iPad.
Please.
So
It's like they forgot we had a folding iPad in 2018, but whatever.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, wait a minute.
Jerry Rig Everything can make any phone a foldable.
With his own 2 hands.
Yeah.
He doesn't need any
iPad is
manufacturing
iPad.
processes.
An iPad.
Except this one. That would be a trick.
That would be.
And that's what makes it the best phone ever.
Look at that. He's white thumbing it. His there's no blood there. He's put so much pressure. and almost broke it.
Drew can't
No,
break
he-
the chevron.
Drew almost
My
broke his
thumb.
thumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my thumb's just.
He's just sitting there. But yeah, I just think about what my purpose is on Twitter, and is there anything proprietary that I'm doing there that I wouldn't announce here? No, I don't think necessarily. Maybe I have a funny meme or something. It's like it's a meme account now. I feel like it's slowly going to convert to that, where it's like I'm just gonna crap post and just be like, oh, the whole like, there's magnets on the iPad 10, always has been. Like that's
Can I
funny.
tweet
and
that
that's-
if you're leaving?
Well, I'm gonna tweet it, and it's called tweeting. I'm not posting. I'm tweeting it, and it's Twitter.
I know. I still call it Twitter and tweeting.
I
I'm
can't
not
not
gonna budge
do
on
it.
that.
You,
I thought about it.
I can't. I tried. It just doesn't feel right. I'm gonna X you out. No, that what? No. Hey, I'm gonna re-X you. What? No. I'm not
Check out
doing
my
that.
ex.
Check out my X. Yeah, the everything app.
Be sure to follow my ex.
No. Yeah, I like
work.
if I had to
says
choose
that?
one, I would choose YouTube. YouTube is the only thing
Yeah.
that
YouTube's already gaining some Twitter features in the community section, so it's kind of they're kind of bleeding into each other. But I think if they both copy from each other, YouTube's gonna win. They've got the bigger fan base. They've got the free to watch. They've got ad blockers.
they got the institutional
And-
establishment of like
Yes,
they're not gonna rock the boat, like whereas like
they can't be
ooh,
bought out really.
X is the anti mainstream blah, blah and like okay, go to Rumble or Minds or any of those other alternative like X is supposed to be an alt social media, it feels like, and look how great all those are panning out. No, what every alternative app, Blue Sky and all these other ones included, is that they are comparing themselves to what they're trying to compete against. It's like if there's going to be a monopoly, if we're heading towards that in its own way because we're just going to copy features, and that's what I mean by monopoly, then yeah, I'm going to go with Google. You can't beat it. It's a whole like, don't try to beat the market, be the market. Same concept. Don't try to beat Google, just be Google.
If you can't beat them, join them. That's my motto.
And if you can't join them, join them. You gotta join them still. Just do it. No, you can join them. Everybody has.
Sounds like a
Google account.
one-lane highway at this point.
There's no privacy. I'm telling you, there's this facade of like, oh, but we care about your privacy. No, you don't, and you don't care either. That's why nobody's paying nothing. Nobody pays anything because they trade freedom. That's the thing that even got me past the threshold on Twitter was because of the whole security vulnerability thing, right? No, but that told me that even though they're sound minds, a lot of people do not care about their privacy because they're born post 9/11 and they're like, I don't care. This is the world.
They like
this is
to
the only
think
world
they
I've
do.
known.
But
Huh?
they're not willing to take the plunge, make the sacrifice that it would actually take, which is to abandon all internet and technology. But
Yeah. No, you're not gonna do it. So
that's not doable.
just be smart. Look, here's how you have good privacy online.
Just
proper-
be
like,
smart.
just-
My teacher
just-
told me that one.
Have proper online etiquette. You know, don't do something that you think might have repercussions. But maybe that's why I feel like maybe the internet should have an age limit. You can't be any older than this because a lot of people are going to post things and regret it, and the internet lives forever. You know, so just as long as you care about privacy, don't be stupid.
Kind of hard to know you're stupid when you're that age or when you're growing up.
There's people in their 20s and 30s and 40s that are just as stupid. There's a lot of people who just don't whatever, but they don't care, and that's your prerogative, that's your choice. But anyway, okay, I don't want. I'm not actually angry, so I don't want to keep ranting on this. It's not worth
Okay.
fake.
Well, Randy, this
stressing.
was a nice last podcast with you. It was fantastic.
Yeah. It's been a good friendship, honestly. Really enjoyed this.
Oh my god.
Follow
We
him
had
on
a
X.
good run. We had a good
You know,
How long was that? 6 years? That was fun.
I never knew it was gonna end like this. I always knew I always knew there's an expiration date. You know, it's always weird when you know when and how. You know, when your time has come.
Can you imagine doing that with friends, like how they end Seinfeld? They were like, we just didn't want it to get worse and sour, so we're just going to end it on a high note. What if you did that with your friends? You're like, I want to stop being your friend in like 6 months. Just
Wait, what
let's just
happened?
call it.
Why? No, because things are
just-
great.
Things are great. I don't want them to get worse.
It
So
can't
let's
get
just
any
cut it
better.
off. Let's just end it right there.
It's so terrible.
April 20th. Just boom.
Goodbye.
That's 6 months
Yeah.
from today, right? I'm not just making that up. Wow.
Yeah.
6 months to go till 420, folks. How about that?
How about that? Hey.
Didn't know that he was such a weed head once you jumped to the Pixel family.
You kind of
counting
need to
the
be
days
high
down.
to just be doing that, you know, to just jump ecosystems like that. Because here's the thing, Drew's doing it like he's raw dogging that, man. He's not keeping his SIM in his iPhone or anything like that. He's straight up he is all in on, look at that. He is 100% Pixel right now. I tell you guys this because my text bubbles are green, and he knows I don't like that. So he messages me on anything but that. I miss you. I miss that wallpaper. I miss that in your background. Like, how can you even bring yourself to make tech videos with Apple boxes behind you, Drew, when you are filming on a Pixel?
I hate these. I've tried to get rid of them. Everyone freaked out last time I took them down, and they were like, "You can't do that. You gotta put them back." So I put them back, and
You
I
jumped
get
over the
attacked if I
Pixel.
try to
You've already
remove them.
shown that you don't care.
I could get a Pixel wall going here. We could make it work.
Oh,
Pixel
goodness.
boy.
What's
in
your
full
ideal
swing.
background then? How would you change it up then? It's your studio. How do you change it up? What would you do?
I'd
take down the
prefer
boxes?
nothing. I'd prefer blank white.
Just
nothing
avoid.
walls.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, Johnny
Pretty much.
Ive.
No, I remember when I filmed that video at John Morrison's studio?
Yes. Yeah.
I always loved that. That he set that up for me really nice. He put out that studio light and he filmed it with some fancy camera, and I was editing it. I was like, this just looks great. I love how visually empty and clean it was, and I don't
That's
know.
what kickstarted your blue light thing back there because
Yeah,
of that.
because I was like, I don't ever want to paint a wall again. I suck at painting, and then everyone just complains about the paint job, and then. But it's not for me. I'm not doing this for me. If the audience wants the boxes, I'll keep the boxes. That's fine.
Take a
He'll
photo
just
of the
slowly keep replacing them one box at a time, and we won't notice until the whole wall is nothing but Pixel phone boxes.
You don't realize it, but I've already started.
box. That'd be a great April Fool's joke. Just slowly things are just converting.
It
the
won't even
course
be
of
in
a
April.
Yeah.
It won't be April Fool's at that point. You're doing it slowly.
Less than 6 months, he starts the trick now. Except now we brought it to we put that out loud, so now he can't do that one. But
He could just
something
edit
like
it out
that.
right now. He could edit all that
Alright.
out right now.
No one will hear this part. This will be cut out.
Man,
I can't believe Randy said so many things about grasshoppers.
Yeah. And that fart that Mike did was so aggressive. It got picked up on all our mics. It was intense.
Voice isolation. It's effective. Okay, long story short, while we were recording, someone bought my old MacBook charger and then canceled the order and then messaged me and said, I clicked that on accident by mistake. Can you please refund me? And I already clicked refund. And then he said literally the words, thank you for understanding. I hope someone, what did he say? Thank you so much for allowing the refund. I only wish this good deed comes back to you.
Buy the charger then.
That's literally what he said in the middle of recording.
Your life is so interesting right now. I have so many questions. Why are you selling your MacBook charger?
I don't use it. There's only one cable port in it, and it's MagSafe, and I don't like MagSafe, and I charge via Type-C now, and I have the VoltMe charge brick with 3 USB plugs in it, and I use that all the time. So
You got it
why
with the
would
computer, Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What if you
but
want
I
to sell
don't
the
use
computer later?
it. If it's not, how did you word
It's
it?
a when.
Oh my god.
It's when, not if. When are you selling
No,
this
I know,
computer?
all right, I know what he's trying to say. Hang on. Go ahead.
I don't know it. I'm trying to ask you if
It's not an if, it's a when.
No, if it let me god dang finish my thought.
Yeah, go
It's a
ahead. Go
god-
ahead.
If it's not a necessity, then it's an absolute no? Is that it?
No. If it's not an absolute yes, it's a definitive no.
Definitive. Okay, thank you. That's it. The keeping around a charge brick that has no other purpose other than to charge my MacBook, which I don't use it for, then I'd rather just sell it to someone who needs it. That's all. But I
Wow.
guess no one needs it. Including me.
I feel like
All
the
right.
universe is trying to help you out, man. Like,
Oh
are you sure
boy.
about this, Drew?
All right. Well, thanks all. Appreciate you. And we'll see you next time, Mike.
I already packed up my office. I'm clearing out my cubicle.
He's ready. All right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, for the last time.
Believe me.